In 1954, the average American garage held more real skill than most workshops today. Not battery-powered gimmicks, not plastic junk from a big box store, cast iron, forged steel, and tools that lasted 3 generations without ever needing a replacement part. Number 11 on this list was so effective that tool companies redesigned their entire product line just to make you stop using it. And number 3 created a bond so strong that modern adhesives still cannot match what your grandfather did with 10 cents worth of material and 5 minutes of patience. These 15 tools were not forgotten by accident. They were buried, replaced by products designed to break so you would buy again. Before we start, hit that subscribe button because your grandfather's garage was smarter than anything on the shelf at Home Depot right now. Number 15. The breast drill, chest brace manual power. Before cordless drills weighed 3 pounds and died mid-project, your grandfather leaned his chest into a breast drill and bored clean holes through oak without a single battery. The concave chest plate braced against his sternum while both hands worked the crank and side handle. A decent breast drill cost about $4 in the Sears catalog in 1952. The 2-speed gear mechanism gave you torque for thick stock and speed for finish work. No cord to trip over, no motor burning out after 3 years. Your grandfather drilled straighter holes by feel than most weekend warriors manage with a laser guide. When cordless drills flooded the market in the 1970s, breast drills disappeared overnight, not because they stopped working, because they never stopped working, and that was bad for business. Number 14, the Drawk knife, a blade with 2 handles pulled toward the body to shave wood into shape. Your grandfather used it to strip bark from fence posts, chamfer porch rails, and shape axe handles from raw blanks. A 12-inch blade cost about $1.50 in 1955. In the right hands, it removed wood faster than any power planer and left a surface smooth enough to skip sanding. Furniture makers in Appalachia shaped entire chair legs with nothing but a draw knife and a shaving horse. The tool was quiet, raised no dust cloud, and never needed electricity. Hardware stores stopped stocking them by the mid-1970s when electric planers promised speed. But speed without control meant splintered grain and wasted lumber. Your grandfather never wasted lumber. Number 13, the nail set. A 3-inch steel punch tapered to a cupped tip used to drive finish nails below the wood surface without leaving a hammer dent. Your grandfather would tap the nail nearly flush, place the set on the head, and give one clean strike. The nail sank a 1/16 of an inch below the surface, leaving a tiny hole filled with putty and sanded invisible. A set of 3 cost about 75 cents. Every trim carpenter in America carried them. Pneumatic nail guns do the job faster today, but they split trim boards and leave oversized holes. Your grandfather's method was slower by seconds, but perfect every single time. Number 12, the brace and bit. The hand brace was the king of the 1950s garage. A U-shaped crank fitted with the interchangeable auger bits bored clean holes through just about anything. A Stanley or Miller's Falls brace cost $3.50. The bits, sold individually for 25 cents each, stayed sharp for years. Here is what tool companies will never tell you. The spiral flute on those old auger bits pulled waste out of the hole automatically, cutting cleaner and cooler than most modern drill bits that just spin and burn. When electric drills took over, brace and bit sets were thrown into barn corners. The ones that survived now sell for $60 at antique shops, because woodworkers figured out what their grandfathers already knew. Number 11, the Yankee screwdriver. Push down, the bit spins. No batteries, no cord, no trigger. The spiral ratchet mechanism converted downward pressure into rotation, driving screws in half the time of a standard screwdriver. North Brothers Manufacturing made the original, and by 1952, nearly every garage in America had one on the pegboard. A Yankee number 131A cost about $2.75. It came with interchangeable bits stored in the handle. The satisfying ratcheting sound meant the screw was seating perfectly. Stanley bought North Brothers and kept making them, but by the 1980s, cordless drills made the Yankee seem old-fashioned. The truth is, for cabinet work and tight spaces where a bulky drill cannot fit, nothing has ever matched it. Tool companies killed it because you cannot sell replacement batteries for a push drill. Number 10. The Plumb bob, a pointed brass weight on a string, more accurate than any laser level you can buy today. Your grandfather hung it from a nail to establish perfect vertical for framing walls, setting fence posts, and hanging doors. Gravity does not need calibration. A solid brass bob cost about 50 cents in 1955. Some men carried the same one for 40 years. When laser tools arrived, the Plumb bob was dismissed as primitive. But on a sunny job site where laser dots disappear, or in a basement where batteries die, gravity still works. Number 9. The expansive bit. One bit that cut any size hole. Your grandfather adjusted the sliding cutter with a set screw, dialed it to the exact diameter he needed, and bored a perfect hole without owning a dozen specialty bits. An expansive bit cost about $1.25 and covered sizes from 7/8 of an inch to 3 inches. Cabinet makers use them for doorknob holes. Plumbers use them for pipe runs. Modern hole saws wear out, wander off center, and cost $10 each. Your grandfather's expansive bit cut cleaner holes centered itself with a lead screw and never needed replacing. Number 8. The bench grinder with a wire wheel. Every serious 1950s garage had a bench grinder bolted to the workbench, one side with a grinding stone, the other with a wire wheel. That wire wheel cleaned rust, stripped old paint, and polished metal to a shine in seconds. A quarter horsepower grinder cost about $12 from Montgomery Ward. Your grandfather cleaned every hand tool at the end of the season, spinning each one against that wheel until bare steel gleamed. A wipe of 3-in-1 oil, and those tools went back on the pegboard ready for another decade. We throw rusty tools away now. He never threw anything away. Your grandfather's putty knife was not just for glazing windows. That flexible steel blade scraped paint, spread wood filler, opened paint cans, mixed epoxy, and pried off trim without damage. A Red Devil putty knife cost about 30 cents in 1953. Some men kept 3, each worn to a different profile from years of use, each perfect for a different job. Modern multi-tools with 15 fold-out blades cannot do what a single, well-worn putty knife could do in hands that understood simplicity. Number 6. The hand-crank grindstone. Before electric sharpeners, your grandfather sat beside a hand-cranked grindstone, slowly turning the wheel while holding a chisel or axe blade against the wet stone. A trough of water below kept the stone damp and the steel cool. No burnt edges, no ruined temper. A 20-inch grindstone cost about $8 in 1950. The slow rotation gave complete control over the bevel angle. He could feel the burr forming through his fingertips. Electric grinders spin too fast and ruin the hardness that makes a blade hold its edge. The old way was 5 minutes slower and better by 5 years of edge life. Number 5. The oil stone in a cedar box. Every workbench had one. A rectangular Arkansas oil stone sat in a handmade cedar box with a sliding lid, a few drops of machine oil on the surface, and your grandfather worked a chisel blade back and forth until the edge could shave hair off his forearm. An oil stone cost about $1.75, and it lasted a lifetime. The cedar box kept dust off and oil from drying out. The ritual of sharpening was as much a part of woodworking as the cutting itself. Modern diamond plates work fine, but they lack the feedback, the slow build of a perfect edge that an oil stone teaches your hands to feel. Number 4, the Crosscut handsaw. A 26-inch disc-on Crosscut handsaw hung in every 1950s garage. 8 teeth per inch, a solid applewood handle riveted to tapered steel. Your grandfather could cross-cut a 2x4 in under 15 seconds, the kerf perfectly straight. A Diston D8 cost about $4.50 in 1955. He filed the teeth himself and kept the blade wiped with an oily rag. A well-maintained handsaw cuts quieter, straighter, and safer than a circular saw for most home projects. No kickback, no extension cord. When power saws became affordable, the handsaw was retired to the back wall, but it never stopped being the better tool for careful work. Number 3, hide glue. Your grandfather kept a double boiler on the workbench, warming flakes of hide glue into a thin, amber liquid. This animal protein adhesive had been used for 3,000 years, and in the 1950s, it was still the gold standard for furniture joints. A pound of dry flakes cost about 40 cents. Here is what modern adhesive companies do not want you to know. Hide glue is reversible. Apply steam and the joint comes apart clean, ready for re-gluing. Furniture could be repaired forever. Yellow wood glue creates a permanent bond that ruins the wood when it fails. Your grandfather built chairs that could be fixed. We build chairs that get thrown away. The chemistry of hide glue, the way protein chains interlock with wood fibers, creates a joint that actually gets stronger over the first year. No modern adhesive does that. Number 2, the EG beater hand drill. That small hand drill with the side crank and gear wheel looked like a kitchen utensil. That is where the design came from. Your grandfather used it for every hole smaller than a 1/4 inch, for pilot holes, starter holes in hardwood, and for wire runs. A Miller's Falls egg beater drill cost about $2 in 1954. The 3-jaw chuck held small bits with precision, and it spun them fast enough to drill clean holes in pine, oak, and thin sheet metal. It fit in one hand and never needed a charge. Cordless drills are too heavy, too powerful, and too clumsy for delicate jobs. The right tool for a small job is a small tool. Number 1, the folding wooden rule. The 6-foot folding rule, boxwood with brass hinges and a sliding extension, was the measuring tool that built post-war America. Every carpenter, plumber, and electrician carried one. A Stanley number 68 cost about $1.65 in 1952. It measured inside dimensions with the brass slide, stayed rigid when extended, unlike a tape measure that buckles past 6 feet, and read to a 1/16 of an inch without second guessing. Tape measures replaced it by the late 1960s. They are fine for rough work. But for precision, for cabinet work, for careful measuring that separates craftsmanship from carpentry, the folding rule was unmatched. The brass fittings wore smooth from decades of use. The boxwood aged to honey gold, and every measurement was dead accurate. Try one. Pick up a hand brace at a flea market. Sharpen a chisel on an oil stone. Then tell me your grandfather did not know something we have forgotten.